Hello students, I'm going to go over your discussion assignment this week. You are going to be reading this very short essay, Rise of the Machines is Not a Likely Future, by Michael Littman. In this essay, Michael Littman uses logical argument to counter the prevailing discourse, which he sees as being made up primarily of an appeal to emotion or pathos. So he's using logos to counter pathos. And you can see that even in the title. The quote, Rise of the Machines, is the type of appeal to emotion that he sees as being problematic in the discourse about AI. Now, this was written in 2015, so things have changed quite a bit since then. One thing that hasn't changed is the emotional tone of a lot of the discourse about artificial intelligence. And so he begins by quoting headlines that appeal to emotion, pathos. Headlines like, quote, top scientists have an ominous warning about artificial intelligence. Or, quote, artificial intelligence experts sign open letter to protect mankind from machines. And he says, quote, the implication is that the machines will one day displace humanity. Michael Littman, however, does not believe this to be the case. And at the top of page 367, he writes, like every other technology, AI has risks and benefits, but we cannot let fear dominate the conversation or guide AI research. This sentence epitomizes his use of logos to try to combat a narrative that's formed on pathos. He's trying to insert some logic into a conversation that he feels is overly emotional. And then he goes into what the apocalyptic storyline is. Right here he says, let's take a closer look at this apocalyptic narrative. Of the three parts, the first is indeed happening now, the development of AI. And Bostrom provides cogent and illuminating glimpses into current and near future technology. The third part is a philosophical romp exploring the consequences of super smart machines. It's that second part, the intelligence explosion, that demonstrably violates what we know of computer science and natural intelligence. So he says this whole thing is presented as a kind of narrative in 3 acts, but he takes issue with the way the second act is presented. He doesn't believe there's such thing as runaway intelligence. And he cites Moore's law that the speed of computers has been increasing exponentially since the 1950s. Project this trend forward and we'll see computers with the computational power of the entire human race within the next few decades. It's a leap to go from this idea to unchecked growth of machine intelligence, however. And then he makes a case that there are different types of problems. In addition to the production limitations, and perhaps with quantum computing, some of those limitations have been overcome, but still, it's not just the physical laws that shape this discourse of what computers can do. He says, we know a lot about the fundamental nature of computation and its limits. For example, some computational puzzles, like figuring out how to factor a number and thereby crack online cryptography schemes, are generally believed to be unsolvable by any fast program. They are part of a class of mathematically defined problems that are NP complete, meaning that they are exactly as hard as any problem that can be solved non-deterministically in polynomial time, and they have resisted any attempt at scalable solution. And it turns out that humans actually can solve these problems, and we can solve these problems because, quote, by and large, we cheat. We build a cartoonish mental model of the elements of the world that we're interested in, and then probe the behavior of this invented mini world. There's a trade-off between completeness and tractability in these imagined microcosms. Our ability to propose and ponder and project credible futures comes at the cost of accuracy. Even allowing for the possibility of the existence of considerably faster computers than we have today, it is a logical impossibility that these computers would be able to accurately simulate reality faster than reality itself. And it's this phrase here, it is a logical impossibility, that underscores exactly how our author is making his case. He's using logic. This is a logos-based argument. So for your discussion, I want you to weigh in. Do you think that the discourse has been shaped by emotion? Are you concerned about AI? Do you think that humanity will be replaced by artificial intelligence? Share your thoughts about how this essay is structured, and please reply to 2 students. It doesn't have to be extensive, it could be brief, but I want you to be checking in with other students. And